The Golden State Warriors do not have a full roster, but they do have one of the best trios in the NBA, which will make them, at the very least, contenders in the Western Conference. Yes, I said it. Coming up.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everyone? Welcome into Locked On Warriors. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. A lot of ways you can check us out. Easiest ways, wherever you get your audio podcast, and check us out on YouTube. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. On the program, we're talking about a trio of players that will carry the Warriors this season, and just having them healthy heading into the season should make you, at the very least, confident that you're going to get extremely competitive basketball to watch this season if you are a Warriors fan. Also, leading up to game one, I guess leading up to preseason game one, because this is a tease that we go live after just about every single game during the regular season as soon as the horn hits, whether it's an afternoon game on a Sunday or a late night game, which are actually being tipped off 30 minutes later, I believe, this year for some of the West Coast games for that Peacock schedule. NBA and NBC. We're back. And this show is excited to talk about something other than Jonathan Kuminga, which has stolen the spotlight over the summer. And unfortunately, it's been a case of how many different ways can we spin something that we think we know? There hasn't been a lot of new information. All right, enough of that. Let's get into why I'm excited. And that's the trio of Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga. I did it again. He's so engraved in my mind, I said his name. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler. Now, heading into last season, Jonathan Kuminga was probably that third because Andrew Wiggins had a little bit of a question mark heading into the year, and Kuminga could have been that third guy, that three-headed monster. It felt that way for a minute, and then injuries derailed those plans. But I miss ball. It's as simple as that. I don't want to talk about any of the storylines that surround the Warriors that aren't related to basketball. I want to break down some basketball and why I'm excited for this year's Warriors team. And it starts with just watching a lot of tape lately on Steph's gravitational pull, which is the least nuanced take of all time. We all know at this point what having him on the floor does for your offense as compared to not having him on the floor. In fact, the difference is staggering. A 118 offensive rating with Steph Curry on the floor, a 105 offensive rating without him on the floor. This is the read and react Warriors, and the read and react Warriors starts with Steph Curry forcing the defense to make quick decisions, and more importantly than that, just causes confusion. You really have to talk against the Warriors, especially with some of the distributors that they have when you add in the distribution of Jimmy Butler. But you already had Draymond Green, who is so damn good as a role man. We've known this for a long time. We badger him on the show quite a bit because he turns it over like crazy, and a lot of times they're careless, but he does some magnificent things with the basketball. It's why some of the non-ball knowers out there cannot get a grip around why he still plays over a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, despite his age, despite Kuminga's scoring numbers. And it's because what he does defensively, the ability to play the five when they need him, and then also run the point guard basically as a five on the floor, and the mismatches that causes. God, if he could just somehow add a floater to his bag, and at this point it's a lost cause. If he had a floater, they would have beat Memphis in the play-in in 2021. We know this, but if he could somehow add that to his bag, or just like an 8-footer, good God, he'd be lethal. I'm actually really sold on the Warriors being pretty legit this season. I would say, I don't think it's a hot take, although I will say I was just on that panel for the Western Conference Pacific Division preview show, and granted, Matt George of the Kings did not have a chance to give his take, but I promise you it wouldn't have been the Warriors. He would have said the Lakers or Clippers, I think, maybe even thrown the wild card out of the Kings. But everyone else, every panelist either said Clippers or Lakers. And okay, I mean, they were very even a season ago. The Warriors, the only team that has not added any contributors from a season ago. So I can understand why you would think that. But at the same time, just look at how good the Warriors were to end last season and look at who is likely coming back to enter this year, along with some players that I guess you could call them wild cards. Potentially Al Horford, wild card because of his age, although not durability. He's played a lot in recent years, and for the most part, he's 55 games plus just about every single year. DeAnthony Melton is a complete wild card. Has not had a healthy season in years. Coming off an ACL injury. He's laterally dynamic, and he's someone that relies on having a healthy knee. And who knows, after reconstructive surgery, how your knee performs and how long it takes you to get into the flow of things. But again, you still have 9 guys from a year ago that took you to the second round of the playoffs. All those dudes back. Because again, Kuminga, he wasn't relied on when you needed him most. And they were winning games, and they jumped up to the driver's seat to completely avoid the play-in without Jonathan Kuminga really doing much of anything at all. He was out with an ankle injury. So let's get into each of these 3 players one by one. Let's start with Jimmy on the block. Jimmy Butler is such a good decision maker on either the low block or the high post. Either one, you get him the basketball and he's going to do something impressive. One of my favorite things actually is when a smaller player tries to front Jimmy Butler and he seals it off, calls for the ball, catches the lob. And most of the times it ends in an and one. Almost all the times it feels like it ends in an and one, never anything else unless Draymond sails the pass, which it's a risky play. You can't blame Draymond, but Draymond a lot of the times was on the distributing end of that connection. And that's something we saw a lot of Jimmy Butler last year when he's on the low block. Steph, Dre, and Jimmy, the chemistry as a whole, it was so good from day one. And the fact that we now get an off season for these guys to work together heading into the year, it may be telepathic. Truly. These guys are all student of the games. They're all wise. They know what they're doing. They're seasoned vets. They play off one another. Health has been a concern. Age has been a concern. You can always slow down over the course of an offseason. But based on what we saw through a large sample size to end last year, and let's not forget, the Warriors weren't eliminated on their own terms. They didn't have Curry out there. They took down a daunting Houston Rockets team that played some incredible defense and had some forces, despite, a lot of the public saying that they were a very beatable 2 seed. The Warriors were the favorites heading in. Say what you want. That was a Rockets team that beat a ton of squads throughout the season, and they were really good. And the Warriors not really losing with their full team. Not really. They lost one of the most influential, important players in basketball and put up a fight in a game or two, whatever. But again, throw it away. It's a wash. Coming up, just a full show breaking down 3 awesome players in the NBA with extremely different skill sets. Let's get a little educational. Let's go inside the weeds with some advanced statistics, and let's talk some Warriors hoop coming up. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade, everyone. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. And what I love most is how portable they are. Take them anywhere. It's a big taste and a tiny shot. You take it anywhere and get that boost wherever and whenever it is needed. My favorite flavor, I like them all. And they come in 17 bold flavors. So you can mix and match. I love it. Also, I like the fact that they're sugar-free. That means there's no crashing, and they also kick in extremely fast. Those are 2 things that are huge when you're doing a lot of road trips like I usually am doing. And whatever it is, if you're doing long work days or have kids, whatever, you need energy fast. 5-hour energy is fast. So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Today's episode is also brought to you by my favorite jeans wear. It is Dewar. This is the Stretch 5 denim, 5 times the stretch of your traditional denim jeans. And as you can see with the belt on in the hotel room, I wear these things everywhere, to the airport, around the hotel, in hot weather because they have antibacterial. It means they stay fresh longer so you can wear more and wash less, but that's just one of the benefits. The Cool Max is what means the antibacterial doesn't necessarily matter because they're not going to stink because it regulates your temperature and it wicks away moisture, which is perfect for those unpredictable Bay Area days. And the best part, they just opened a brand new store, Did Doer, right in Hayes Valley. You will want to stop by. They combine the classic jeanswear style with the comfort and performance of athletic wear. Now that's the best of both worlds. Once you try them, they'll be your go-to. Visit their new store that's now open at 567 Hayes Street in Hayes Valley. Mention my code LOCKEDONSF. You'll get 15% off your first order or shop online at shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF. How do you spell doer? D-U-E-R. Get 15% off. shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF. I mean, this is basketball that has the off-ball screens from Steph for Jimmy. Jimmy uses them as backdoor cuts, and then Draymond finds them, or vice versa. I just said Steph was setting the screens. What if he's on the ball, and he's got the ball in his hands, and Draymond comes out to set a high screen, and there's no communication on a switch, or you don't know what the hell to do with Steph Curry because you can't stop him. He's going to figure out something. And because of that, the floor opens up for everyone else. All 5 defenders kind of turn their head just a little bit to look at Curry. Jimmy sees it. He gets to the right spot, sometimes in the high post, whatever. And out of that is a main decision maker and facilitator. He'll find Moody, Pajimski, whoever for a corner 3. He'll get his. He'll take it strong to the basket. Or guess what? There's still Steph Curry on the floor, who is getting 17,000 steps on his Fitbit throughout the game and knocks down a 32-footer if he's got the open opportunity. So it's a hard offense to stop when Steph is on the floor. There were so many issues last year when he was off the floor. The Warriors just looked lifeless. It got better when Jimmy Butler joined the fold, and that is very exciting. Steph the screen, Draymond the read, Jimmy the cut, flip it. Either way. Draymond can have the cut. Steph the read. Jimmy the screen. Either way, those 3 are always in motion. They're always in harmony. They have that telepathic read of each other, and I don't know how you're upset about them having another offseason together, even if it means they aged 6 months, something along those lines. I would think that the extra benefit of just having some time together is huge for the Warriors entering this upcoming season. You can have the on-ball gravity. Lots of players have it in the game, but off-ball gravity is rare, and it's something that Steph Curry has really come to define, and everyone is overcompensating with Curry in the back of their minds on the defense, and because of that, you can get free. That combination of Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph, if healthy, you got to acknowledge that this team is still not to be messed with in the Western Conference. They're not a favorite. I would say that the only guaranteed surefire favorites you would think would be the Nuggets. To me, they've won it. They felt pretty close last year. Coaching change. You feel good about the coaching change. You feel good about trading out Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. You feel good about every other move that they made along the margins and bigger moves as well, bringing in Bruce Brown. So you got to say Denver's there. And then the defending champs, OKC, what are we doing if they're not in tier 1? I would assume that the Houston Rockets by season's end will be tier 1. And that's the team we're breaking down today on our tour of the Western Conference. But I'm not going to put them entirely in that tier until at least 5 games. I mean, we got to see what they look like with Kevin Durant. You can't imagine that they would be any worse swapping out Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks for Kevin Durant. But you got to acknowledge what happened in Phoenix. That was not a winning team. They were winning before Durant got there. Now, let's not blame it on that. They were also winning before Ishbia owned the team. But forget just Kevin Durant. You lose Jalen Green, who had the ability to go for 30 from time to time. Now, was that the reason that they were as good as they were a season ago? No, although when they did look their best against the Warriors in the postseason, Jalen Green had some massive games. But Dylan Brooks is big too. I mean, he fits that mold of an Ime Udoka player, did exactly what Udoka wanted, and could score the basketball too. Wasn't just a defensive guy, big time energy. They lose him. I want to see what exactly Houston looks like, but I'll get into some of the reasons why I think they're going to be super scary in just a minute. But the Warriors and Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph, I can't speak for next season. Obviously, we have to see how it goes, but you would have to assume that for the next 2 years, they're right on that tier, right behind those three likely. And that's Lakers, that's Clippers, that's any other potential upstart teams that I don't think are going to jump into that mix, unless maybe it's the Spurs. That's something I could potentially see happening if everything breaks right with the multitude of talented players they have and trade chips that they have, young players. Those are kind of your tiers, I would think. Grizzlies are stuck in purgatory a bit, it seems. When you trade Desmond Bane, you don't really expect to get better. The Sacramento Kings don't appear to be one of those teams. They are kind of in the hot seat. They're stuck in purgatory to some degree. But again, until the season begins, they have enough solid players on their team to where maybe they go on that little Bulls run that Chicago had in like 2021, I think it was, where they were one of the better teams in the first half of the season and then kind of fell off. And then Phoenix, I don't think they would have enough depth-wise or really at the top, with Devin Booker being your best player. There's too many good teams in the NBA for Phoenix really to make a difference. But off the top of my head, that's really everyone in the Western Conference that you have to worry about. And look, I don't think there's a trio in this conference that is as good as those three. SGA, Chet, and Jalen Williams. Okay, very fair. Houston Rockets, Amin Thompson, Alperen Şengün, Kevin Durant, if those are the three you're going with. Now, they definitely have 4, 5, and 6, I think, better than the Warriors 4, 5, and 6 potentially. But top three, it's impressive. Denver, Cam Johnson, if he's your third. Aaron Gordon, if he's your third. And then Jamal Murray and Mr. Jokic, the Joker. Yes. Look, there are a lot of teams at 4, 5, and 6 look to be better than the Warriors, but I'm just talking top three. Your anchors are the dudes that, if healthy, are going to carry you throughout a regular season and give you a shot to win some meaningful basketball games come playoff time. And the Warriors have those anchors. They play so good together. Draymond unlocks the best of Jimmy Butler. I truly believe that, both offensively and defensively. On the floor together, it works. We didn't know how it would work in the locker room. There's still a lot of time to find that out. But even as of now, it works. There were times late in the season where Draymond could not afford a technical. It seemed as if he was going to get a technical. Specifically in the Wolves series, he would have got suspended had he gotten a technical after the foul on, I think it was Naz Reid. How did it go down? Draymond was shooting. Naz Reid fouled him, but Draymond flailed something. I think he flailed an elbow or whatever and hit Naz Reid, and he gets the flagrant and should have gotten teed up. And Jimmy kind of came in, Steph too, the leadership of those guys to get him out of that situation. They are, and they're not going to do that all season. I think Draymond was top 5 again in technicals a season ago. Coming up, teams in the Western Conference that we should be worried about this upcoming season, breaking down a little tiers, specifically focusing on one squad, the establishment that the Warriors sent packing last season, sent them home, the Houston Rockets. That's coming up. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, that is when you end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes. You can see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Increase your savings rate. Easily review finances with your partner and your financial advisor. You can keep a clear view of your financial health week to week and long term. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That is 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com using code LOCKEDONNBA. I want to tour the competition over the course of the next couple weeks or something until content season really picks up and hypothetical season ends. I want to talk about some of the teams that I think will be super good and a threat to the Warriors. Let's start with the Houston Rockets, who had their season ended by Golden State, but they did snap that 15-game losing streak that they had to the Warriors over the course of how many years a season ago. They snapped that streak, defeating them in the NBA Cup, but the Warriors got the last laugh, winning in 7 and winning on the Rockets' home floor, silencing the Toyota Center. This year, however, I think if you polled 99% of NBA fans, even some of the staunchest of Dubs fans out there, they would have to keep it real, keep it unbiased, and say that Houston is probably on paper the better team entering this upcoming season. Many reasons why. Kevin Durant is reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, 700, 6. He's almost every reason. But there are some others. Let's start with Reed Shepherd. You have a player that went 3rd overall in last year's 2024 draft. It was a weak draft. There were many years that Reed Shepherd would not have gone 3rd overall, but he is someone that could shoot it really well. He does have some defensive abilities at the guard position, and here's why I think he's so crucial. They just need him to be better than Aaron Holiday. They lose guard depth with Jalen Green. They need Reed Shepherd to be playable. 75 games plus playable this upcoming season. They don't need him to be your traditional number 3 pick in their second season where they're in the Rising Stars game and they average 14 points. They don't need that. They just need him on the roster and not in the G League. And I think he can give them that. He was better during the second half of last season, averaged from 4 to 7. His shooting went up from 33 from deep to 48 to 50%, I believe, or 48% from deep post All-Star break. So you would expect him to get significantly better. Amin Thompson, the Bay Area native, is such an X factor for this team because we know he's going to be good defensively, elite defensively, and we know he's going to be pretty good offensively just from being a freak. Doesn't do anything incredibly impressive offensively, although can handle it a little for his size and frame, and I guess can put the ball in the basket at a clip that isn't, Shaq or isn't, Draymond from 10 feet, but it's not an impressive offensive package yet. If it becomes decent, better than decent, then watch out. I mean, we're talking about one of the best players in the league. There were lots of times last season where I wasn't extremely impressed with Amin Thompson, and that's because you watch the game through an offensive first mindset most of the times. You got to go back and really dissect film to see all the defensive plays that he makes. I mean, you'll see the highlights, you'll see the ones that really stand out, the ones that they talk about, but let's get real. We're all human beings here. Unless you're at the game, are you dialed into all 82 for 48 minutes every single night, commercials included? No, you're putting away the dishes. You're taking out the dog. You're playing ping pong. You're getting some work done. You're not casually watching by any means, but you're missing the greatness that is Amin Thompson just from not breaking down that side of the ball. But I've had the chance recently to really just get into the weeds of Amin Thompson tape, doing a lot of traveling, sitting on planes, buying the Wi-Fi packages, and watching some of the players around the league whose skill sets are much more than just stats. And he's got decent stats, good stats. But Amin Thompson, in addition to potentially fighting for Draymond and Wemby and some others for Defensive Player of the Year, he's got a chance to just be a special generational type defender, because I think he was truly created in a lab to be a transcendent. That's the word I was looking for. Transcendent, Regis. Final answer. No, I don't want the 50-50, and no, I don't want to ask the audience. Transcendent defender. Truly. He's awesome. In the ISO, he's an awesome defender. Why? One, he slides his feet like a machine. So good. He's quick for step, long-armed, wingspan of 7 feet. You do get past him, which is very rare. He's a good shot blocker from behind, but usually no one's getting past him. Usually it's the help side defense where he comes over and blocks shots. Just has very quick reaction, good anticipation, a natural feel to be a defender, because, you know, there are plenty of players out there that are athletic freaks. The Warriors got one in Kuminga, and I think Kuminga's got a ton of potential defensively, but he doesn't have Amin Thompson potential. And a lot of it's due to just the physical makeup of the two. I mean, Thompson for sure has a longer wingspan than Kuminga, I would think, off the top of my head. In fact, we're going to look that up right now, because let's not understate the importance of wingspans when it comes to a defensive player. So Jonathan Kuminga wingspan. How's everyone's day going? Good. Sorry about this. I just want the detail. 6'11" wingspan. So Kuminga's up there. Kuminga has the physical tools, essentially the bounce, to be like an Amin Thompson, but he doesn't have the same processing speed. He doesn't have the same, just like Amin Thompson doesn't have the capabilities like Kuminga to stop on a dime, to turn around and to consistently knock down a 12-footer or to hit threes at any sort of a reasonable clip. I mean, he's even worse than Kuminga at that. So sometimes you got to learn. And this dude did not have to learn defense. He just got it. Maybe he learned it in the same league, the Ignite, is Kuminga beforehand. But I think this dude's just been a freak defender for the longest time. He just gets it. And he does it without fouling. He's a great defender without fouling. He's got active and quick hands, stays in front of people. There's just an art to having a 7-footer that slides his feet as well as he does. 7-foot wingspan, slides his feet as well as he does. Also, great timing. He's got discipline. He's not falling for Luka pump fakes or whatever, and is standing his ground. And he's always affecting shots, and can guard many, many positions, and a good rim protector. This dude is a special defender. ISO, help side, he's awesome. He is a very, very talented player in the NBA. And not a lot has changed with the Rockets aside from getting slightly older. Tari Eason has another year under the tires. So Jabari Smith. And aside from that, I mean, you're looking at a pretty similar team to a season ago in terms of who the contributors are going to be. You still got Fred VanVleet. He's back at the point guard position. Again, you need Reed Shepherd to back him up. You need him to be a contributor to get the best of the Rockets. But Alperen Şengün, we're not even talking much about him. He's in an age where he's still on the rise. He's still improving. I thought Draymond got the better of him in that series, but go up head-to-head again, Draymond, Şengün, knowing what Şengün knows now, can he hold his own? And can he take his game to the next level? But again, it all kind of starts with Kevin Durant, because if that fit doesn't work, then you lost an important player, I think, in Dillon Brooks, who is underrated when he fits. And he fit on that Memphis team, and he definitely fit on Houston. How will he fit on Phoenix? That's a good question for him. But anyways, this is Locked on Warriors. That's a tour through Houston, one of the big-time competitors in the Western Conference for the Warriors. This is Locked on Warriors. We'll keep doing those tours.